Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is a review for Virgin Media's new hub, the 3.0. I have upgraded my package in the last few days from the Easy bundle, which included the Super Hub 2 and up to 50 megabits per second download, to the new and improved Big bundle, which includes not only 100 megabits per second, but also Virgin Media's new flagship, the Super Hub 3.0. So Virgin say get up to speed with our fastest ever Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is one of those weird things that you can't see, but you know it's there, reliably floating about, making all your connections happen and keeping you happily online. Until something happens in the ether and snap, it's gone. However, with our ultra-fast Wi-Fi, you can be sure of a great connection whenever you want. Bold claims indeed there from Virgin, enough to whet the appetite of any internet-savvy homeowner. Liberty Gold have announced the following specifications. VoIP-based telephone gateways. This is not currently active, but it's very nice to be future-proof. DOC SIS3 or D3 compatibility. This provides currently 8 downstreams of 4 upstreams, which is great for houses with multiple devices being connected at the same time. 802.11ac Wi-Fi, that's 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz interchangeably, and forward compatibility of 1 gigabits per second, although this was not going to be available until DOC SIS 3.1 arrives. It's nice to have some future-proofing. The Hub 3, with its glossy white finish and mesh-covered sides, is actually quite pleasing to look at. In addition, Virgin are very proud that only the base LED should be visible when in operation. The Hub 3 arrives in an oversized reusable box. It was difficult to tell if this hub was new or used. One of the Ethernet cables was also absent. Virgin requests that you return your existing hub, which is a bit of an insult to me as I paid £50 to obtain the Hub 2 originally. Regardless, I recommend you don't return your router until you are satisfied that the Hub 3 is working effectively. To get you up and running as quick as possible, the Hub 3 is supplied with a number of quick start and how-to booklets. Before you even plug in your new router, it is, however, important to call Virgin Media in order to activate your device. Even if you follow all the steps provided and successfully activate your device, you may still be presented with a problem. In my case, there was an option to self-fix this problem. Unfortunately, that also failed, and I was directed to contact the cable operator. The person I spoke with was very helpful and very calm, but unfortunately limited in his knowledge of the device. It seems that all Virgin Media support staff are working off of a pre-orchestrated script and are rather incapable of answering direct questions or veering away from what is already scripted for them. After approximately 45 minutes of technical support, we finally got the hub baseline to go completely white, which means it was active and ready to use. Unfortunately, the disappointments continued and they come thick and fast. The first issue I encountered was a 15 to 20 second delay after the login page had loaded before I was actually able to enter my password. The second issue being that the password was not starred out. This means that anyone in the vicinity of you would quite easily be able to read your password. Immediately after logging in, I was presented with a 42-second delay before the first initial home page was actually loaded. This delay is not a one-off either. Every page that loads seems to have a delay of between 15 seconds and a minute. On one occasion, it didn't actually load the page at all and I had to restart the browser. The number of issues that I've had since installing the Hub 3 are plentiful. So plentiful, in fact, that it's difficult to mention them all coherently. The Super Hub 2, the device I had before the Super Hub 3, had a perfect connection. It was slower, but devices never dropped out. The Fire TV that I've used for years now does not connect at all to the Hub 3. To counteract this, I split the 2.4 and the 5 GHz frequencies into their individual SSIDs. This worked, and I managed to get all devices working to a limited degree. The router, however, unset my configuration and returned the router to the original 8.11 AC configuration, which meant the next morning I found all devices either disconnected or running very poorly. In addition, the WPS feature, which is available here and on the Hub 2, was completely inoperable. As you can see from the screen here, if I were to disable the WPS pin and apply those changes, in approximately 1 minute, you would find that those changes have not been stored. And again here, you can see that I try to enable both and apply the changes. Those changes are not effectively applied. You can continue trying to use the WPS pin, and occasionally it will save your changes. This does not, however, guarantee that you will be able to connect a device via WPS, because it simply does not work. So how do I sum up my experience with the Super Hub 3? Well, there are some pros and quite a few cons. So if we start with the pros, this device actually looks quite nice. There are less lights on the front blinking away, and I appreciate that. The 5 GHz channel produces over 100 megabits per second consistently. There are a number of future-proof capabilities, which is always nice to have. The passwords are forced to be more complex than ever before. And I did speak to one amazing support guy at Virgin called Thomas, so ask for him if you ever need to speak to Virgin. Now for the cons. With the initial setup, which failed repeatedly, took well over an hour to get working. The login page delay before being able to enter your password is frustrating. The login page password is not starred, and I think that's a terrible oversight. The loading delay between pages is excessive, although I have been told that it shouldn't be as long as I am experiencing. The hub layout is not the best. It's not immediately obvious where you would go to find certain settings, and certain settings that you would expect to be in the same area are simply not. The hub resets or does not apply changes that you want to make. This is not only frustrating, but closer to infuriating. Many devices in my home are failing to connect. The 2.4 GHz frequency is returning very low speeds, and so low in fact it's unusable. Because of that, the 802.11 AC is a flawed feature, and the WPS seems to be unusable at best. I can only surmise that the device I have is broken, and that when Virgin managed to replace that device, a majority of these problems, if not all of them, will be gone. I genuinely hope that's the case. Thank you so much for watching.